Welcome to Elvis Fans Matter. Guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna do some numerology,
Questions and answers.
questions and numerology here. 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 and 2 is...
But
no,
first,
we
what we're
didn't
going to
get
do is we're going to thank everybody for all the cards and the gifts and everything that you know
That
that was
everybody
sent to
sent us
us,
and
and all the well wishes and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and everything goes right back to you too.
Thank y'all so much, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep,
And we actually got
the real.
We got the director here with us, and we got my wife Joe here with me that threatened my life a little while ago. But
You have to do that every once in a while.
but we got some questions that people have asked, you know, and different things, and you know, we thought we might answer 2 or 3 of them for you, and we got one little special dude that we want to. What's his name? Michael.
No, Nick Meyer.
Oh
Nick
no, it's got to
Meyer.
be Michael
No,
Myers.
Not Michael. Nick.
Nick.
Nick Meyer.
He loves motorcycles, right?
Yes, he's the son of one of our followers, Karen Meyer. And so we want to thank you for your question. Let's see. You almost made me call him Mike. Nick's question was, to you, how fast have you ever gone on a motorcycle by yourself? How fast have you ever gone on a motorcycle with Nanny? And if Nanny's ever ridden a motorcycle just by herself, or if she was always passenger?
Well, I usually went around 100, and she broke the sound barrier.
No, we did one night go about, which, you know, we're back, like I said, you know,
If you were there, but you could speed.
yeah, you could, but God had to be with us back then because we were so young and stupid to get us where we are today.
Now we're old and stupid.
But we went from Graceland one night to Hernando in what, about 5 minutes?
No, it took
But
a little longer.
actually, the oil line broke on the motorcycle we were on, and the smoking, it started.
my motorcycle.
Oh yeah, it hit the pipe, and the guys behind us that were following had to catch up with us and let us know because we were whirling on
Smoking.
down. We had to
Still
get off in Hernando. We were doing about what,
Oh, I guess we was cutting at least
About
80.
80 or 90
maybe
or maybe a little more.
Yeah.
But
we were
Elvis was in front of us, so he was. But we had to get off at the at a service station in Hernando and call. They had to call back and get Mike and Earl to come get it in the cattle truck. And we had to ride back with the guys, and they had to take Billy's motorcycle to the shop and have new oil line, new pipes, and all that. So
cleaned and all
cleaned
that.
and all that.
But anyway,
I never rode a
was-
motorcycle by myself like the big ones, but out in California, when we lived on Perugia Way with Elvis, there was a little, what was it, a little scooter, and Priscilla and me and Joe Fortis, we'd take turns, and we'd ride double a lot of times, and we'd ride all the way down to the gate in Bel Air and ride back up, around, winding around on that little
Yeah.
scooter. But
a little Cushman scooter.
Yeah.
A little bitty.
Yeah.
You know, about
but we
so
did
high.
ride that by ourselves.
No, it
Priscilla
wasn't.
actually had a Honda, and she rode.
No, it wasn't a Cushman scooter.
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But I was mostly passenger.
I'd love to ride motorcycles, riding them.
Love
Gosh,
it.
Ever since I was 14, I always had a little, that's how I learned I learned on a little Cushman Eagle scooter and worked my way up and he had a little Harley Davidson 165 and it was a little one, he's short, and you know, I could actually get over it and my leg would touch the ground.
He could-
and all
he
that.
didn't have to
All right, I
lean
don't
and
hear no
hold
short jokes now. but I learned on that and worked my way on up. And, I've had a couple real pretty bikes.
You had a Triumph that Elvis
I had
bought
it,
you
yeah, he
once. A
bought
beautiful
the
Triumph.
first one he bought was Triumph Bonneville 650, you know, and I had it a little added to it after I got it and all, and it was to me it was a beautiful bike. And then later I got the
Sportster.
Sportster, which was customized too, and
I remember when you first got the Sportster, you went to Marina Del Rey. Elvis took the guys and they went to
Yeah.
Marina Del Rey, and actually I got to
leave for mine.
I stayed there. We were in Palm Springs, and I took Lisa and Danny and Rory and Laura out with one of the guys' wives. We stayed and kept the kids and took them out. And Elvis had given us money to take them shopping, and we did. And I remember when they got back with motorcycles, they weren't supposed to ride them yet until Elvis was ready. And Al Strada and Billy and me got, and we pushed them down the hill to get out of the sound of the house to crank them up because they couldn't wait to see
Yeah.
to get on the road around
didn't know how long he
made
was.
of.
I didn't know how he was going. How long he was
Right,
going
yeah.
to sleep. So
He
we
was
kind of
asleep for a
sneaked
while.
out. What she didn't know is, it's while I was in Marina Del Rey, I got to look at a lot of pretty girls. The heck of it is, all of us motorcycles. Betsy over here, and Louise over here, and so and so. No, I'm just.
I was fixing to say, really?
Oh, well, you go ahead in. Did you ever ride a motorcycle?
No. Never have.
You
No.
never have?
No,
She never had
I
the
never
love
have.
of the.
Nolan had a motorcycle when we first started
Oh, yeah.
dating, one of
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
crotch rocket
I
speed,
remember.
and he's still mad because but I'm horrified.
I love it.
There's nothing in between my body and the pavement.
The
so
only thing is,
No.
it depends on who you ride with.
I just,
Now, I didn't ride with just anybody. I didn't ride. I rode with Billy.
I rode with some of the biggest. I'm the biggest motorcycle.
I love it. It's just like freedom,
Wow.
freedom.
my butt would be too.
But you
drawn
need to
up for
tell
that.
about the time you went out. We were on Pruggy Way right after we got the Triumphs, and Elvis had asked Billy, he said, have my motorcycle, get it out, and we're gonna go out. He
Yeah.
said, you go out and have somebody crank it. And Billy told me, he said, have somebody. He said, heck, I'll crank that sucker myself.
All right.
So go ahead and tell how you cranked it.
Well, I may have told
Well,
this once before,
and there
but I'm
was a
gonna
whole
tell
lot
it
of
again
fans
because it
standing
was
out too.
like in Memphis, out there. They all, he had fans outside the gate and all that. This particular time, the gate was open and there was some fans out there and all. Well, I pushed this motorcycle out. Well, back in, they had what you call a spark, and you could increase the spark, and that makes the motorcycle crank quicker, if you give it the right amount of spark. And it had a kick, not a battery.
Kickstart.
Right, kickstart rather than battery start at that time.
And this was a big Harley Hog,
Yeah,
a
it
big
was.
motorcycle.
So I thought, well, I'll go out there and I'll crank it for them. We'll have it ready sooner and we'll be ready to go. And so I got out there and I kicked. And I kicked again. And I thought, well, I remember he told me he had to have a little spark. So I thought, well, I'll add a little spark to it. So I'll add a little to it and kick, and it barely hit. So I thought, well, I'll get it this time, boy. So I give it a little more spark, and I kicked, and that sucker flew back because they had compression on it. And that kick come up and throwed me completely over the motorcycle onto the ground and busted my hiney. And I thought, okay, that's it. Now I won't be trying to crank no more. So And when he heard about that, he laughed until he couldn't. He said, I want you to start mine every time since you do such a good job. I said, no, thank you. You don't have to worry about that.
He was funny about. Remember the time that we had been out riding at Graceland and we came back and at the back we rode up to the back door of Graceland where you go in on the left side of the jungle room, and there had been a water puddle there, and he had Earl and Mike to put some sand and fill it up with sand so it wouldn't be muddy, because he would walked out and stepped in it. So we got back, we rode up to the back door, and we set our motorcycle, Billy did, over to the side, and Elvis went to set his up. Of course, his was a big heavy one, and when he did, he put the stand down and he just started falling, and he fell over and the motorcycle fell on him, and he said, who in the
He said, what dumb
what
put
dumb
this damn sand right here. And
Billy said, well,
I said,
actually,
Elvis, I said, it was
you ordered it.
You wanted it out here. And he said,
Good
it's
idea.
a good thing I did. He said, it'd probably broke my ankle if I had.
If I hadn't have fell over in that soft sand, it would have probably broke my ankle.
A character, boy.
He
I'll
was
tell
a
you.
character.
But anyway, Nick, he loved motorcycles, and of course I followed right in behind him. I thought, everything he did, I had to do too if I could. And so we rode motorcycles for many years. First one I ever rode was in 1957. Elvis had a big Harley then. And Lamar went out on Elvis's Harley K, and he had the Super Glide, the big Harley, and I rode on the back with him. First time I'd been on the motorcycle. From there on, like I said, I rode a Cushman Eagle and then worked my way up.
What was the Indian or some kind of one you said you learned that didn't have any brakes on it or something? I remember you talking about one at Graceland that had no brakes, and y'all just rode it around the yard. Is there one called
Yeah, it's
called
an
Indian?
Indian motorcycle, but no, that wasn't it. The one that we had was what they call a, gosh, I don't know, it's
think
these
of
little scooters that they use still today. And they call them puddle jumpers back then.
Yeah.
But it didn't have no brakes. It was a friend of ours, and he had brought it up, and we were riding around in the yard, and it didn't have any brakes on it, and hit the fence a couple times.
Yeah, I did that.
Thank
one
goodness
time.
we didn't break it, or we'd have really been in some hot water, as they say, because we were just teenagers at that time. But I was just sharing some of the stuff with you, Nick. And
Mick.
Nick.
Nick.
Is it Nick?
Nick.
Nick.
Nick,
N.
not Mick, but
Nick.
Okay, I got
Nick
it right.
Myers.
Does he
Nick,
have
and
a
I hope you ain't-
motorcycle?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments, Nick
If
or
you have a
Karen, if you have a
motorcycle.
motorcycle and how fast you've gone, and if you
We
ever,
have a friend.
ever gotten a
John
speeding
Stone.
ticket.
Yeah, we have a friend, John Stone, that rides a lot. Still, he loves his motorcycle.
And he's in with a motorcycle gang. No,
No,
I was
one of
shaking my
the motorcycle groups, they
Yeah.
have them all over the country, and he's,
we used to ride.
He-
I remember one time we ran into the Hell's Angels. Remember? We rode, and I was
Oh, yeah,
horrified.
yeah.
But they weren't like that. They
Well,
were. I always heard
the ones
horrible.
we run up on,
were nice.
And they knew to behave because most of the time the state troopers were on that
Right on 'em.
highway.
And usually Elvis
so
was
that-
packing.
yeah, but we did a couple times
Nick-
run up on, about one of them.
Nick also asked if y'all still ride and if you still have one, but I can answer that.
Yeah, oh
No.
yeah. I rode one just the other day, boy. I went down highway here and I hit about 100.
You didn't know. We got
And
rid of
believe it or
ours.
not, I wasn't even on a motorcycle.
When we got rid of our or his, I say ours. When we got rid of it was when Danny and Joey got old enough to ride it. I don't know why we thought they didn't have as much sense as we did.
Well,
Because the way we were
Well, look back, about a year and a half ago, pictures of Daddy when he wrecked the one he had, and then that'll answer.
Yeah, we never
wrecked
did.
him, did he?
No, we never allowed them to have a motorcycle until they got old enough on their own, if they wanted to get one. But we knew the
Yeah.
deal of what we
could
did
happen
on
if
them,
you didn't
and
know,
you know,
but
we're
we-
lucky
yeah.
we're still here.
but you know, it's
But
motorcycles
nowadays
are-
you gotta watch everybody on a motorcycle. Back when we rode, there was not as many crazy people out there.
Well, I don't know if it's crazy people.
Except for us. But
yeah,
you,
we were
but,
the ones that were crazy. All the drivers, they
Well,
had to watch
everybody else
us.
was
but I mean, but really, you didn't see as many.
You clap down on that motorcycle. I thought I'd get that. No, you didn't. You had to ride. You had to ride safe.
You
That's
had
for
to be
sure.
safe. You had to watch everything, and now you have to watch even more because people don't pay attention to.
They sure don't,
motorcycles.
boy. I mean, I
Unless
thought I
they
was
have
in
a helmet
like,
and a badge, and then they pay a little bit of attention to
I
them.
thought it was race 2000. You know, with cars only we was using motorcycles, and we was trying
Yeah.
to
People don't though,
trying to get as many points as we
You know,
could.
especially in Memphis. People
don't.
don't watch out for motorcycles, and people on motorcycles don't respect the road like they
No, they
should
don't.
either. A lot of times,
They
especially
weave,
like
weave,
in Memphis or in
weave.
big cities,
Right.
they weave, slam on brakes, run up the median or whatever.
That's right.
So people just aren't very
But
careful.
you know, to be of
It
all the
wasn't a
times,
medium. I usually run up.
Somebody's
you should tell about the "Give Me Room, Ricky."
Oh no.
We'll save
That's
that
another
another
one.
time.
That's-
But
That's
that
for
was some of our most fun times
Yeah,
to me
we
as the
had a lot.
motorcycles. I loved it. I loved the motorcycles.
All right, Nick. We appreciate your question, and
Mm-hmm.
if you
And be safe.
you be safe, and you know if you have any more questions and all.
Send them
Send
on.
them
If
in.
they're- if
Send 'em
they're-
in.
Yeah, if they're about motorcycles, I don't know that I can add to it because I don't know much else about them except how to ride.
say hello to your
No, I'm
mom,
just
Karen, and thank y'all both for all the support. You
Yes, thank
We
you
do.
so much.
If we're gonna we can stay on this video with the motorcycle theme because we had another question from another viewer that said, when you rode with Elvis, did he ever really scare you with his driving on either a motorcycle or in any of the cars? You know, did he ever act crazy or try to scare you, or did he really scare you? You know, I guess pulling out in front of somebody or speeding.
Well, generally, you know, short ride, and we had to stop at the service station because it was time to change clothes. No.
Now he was safe. I mean,
Yeah, he was a pretty safe driver.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll have to say that.
I don't think I've ever been scared riding in a car with him. He took me for a ride in his Pantera down the expressway, and I mean, it didn't take us.
I
but
could think
a
of one
minute.
time we were kind
Go.
of scary.
Yeah, I know the time you're
Uh,
talking about. Were we going to look at that house for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was me and Joe and Linda and Elvis, and we was
Mary.
in his Cadillac station wagon,
Yeah.
and he got to talking. Anyway, was a three-way thing right in the
Curb
road,
thing,
you know, yeah,
curb.
that separated, you know, an off turn, and he was looking back and he was talking, and about that time, boy, he hit that sucker, and I think we jumped about halfway across the
Yeah, I was like,
road, you know, and
Elvis had
and
a,
Linda said, Elvis, you about killed us. And he said, nah, he said, look, he said, I just happened to be looking off a little bit. He said, you know, I actually got the most best driving
award.
student award for, you
In
know,
high school.
when I was in high school.
Is that where you got that from?
Uh,
I can remember many times going down highways.
You'd say,
You would be looking back to see if somebody was coming,
And-
speeding up to see if you could get over, and Nanny's holding the dash and screaming, and you're like, by God, do you want to drive or am I driving? But I mean, you'd come and ace of running up somebody's tail end.
I know where you're
Wherever.
talking
You know.
about. Goodman Road before we
Goodman
go
Road,
Express.
Church Road, 240, 55.
Look, can I help it if it runs in the family? My God, you know.
But
Give
Elvis
me a
had,
break.
Elvis had this habit of, if he was talking and telling something that was taking long, he'd slow down to almost nothing. Then when he got here, you know, get through telling that, then he'd start talking on something else. We'd slow down, and he was looking back, but we never had an accident. So, and two, we just thought, you know, if we were with Elvis, we were
Get
safe.
back to, was I
Safe.
ever scared?
No.
No, not really. I rode a lot of things with him, you know, from a Caterpillar on down to a, you know,
Tractor.
three-wheel trike to anything else you could name it. Snowmobiles, go-karts, what you name it. I guess we tried it, but never was scared. I guess, you know, I thought that nothing could happen, you know.
That's
to Elvis,
the
you
way
know, if he was
we
with
were
him,
just.
but, you know,
I had a fear of flying, and until we started.
I did too without my wings.
But we flew sometimes every night during tours and vacations and stuff, and I never even thought about it. Didn't bother me at all. I mean, you just felt like if you were with him, you were safe, and he just made you feel, you know.
Yeah, I know we flew over the Grand Canyon, and when we got through, it was filled. You could walk across it. I'm just teasing, folks. No,
You know what's funny? Anybody that's ever flown, and I don't know, I just have this thing about, you go in the bathroom, and I automatically pull the shade down that goes out. I mean, it's not like anybody could be out there looking in or anything, but you just.
That's one thing I've never done is fly
all
on
thing you had to worry
airplane.
about was Superman.
Really? Huh? Superman, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just automatically, I mean, if I ever went in the bathroom on the Lisa Marie or anything like that,
That's like going into a bathroom, even at my own house or wherever. I look behind the shower curtain.
know,
I don't know
that's
what I would
weird.
do if somebody was standing there, but
I do. I know what
I
I
know
do.
what they do,
I'll check it.
We're just crazy. We're just
but
born that way.
but yeah, we had you know, actual few scary moments, I guess, in the years. But you know, I as far as you know, with him, I can't remember ever being
Not really.
really scared. And I think, you know, one of the unsafest things we ever done is when we bulled down the house behind Elvis's house, his mansion and all, was another little house in the back there where I had lived when I was a teenager.
The White
White
House.
House,
back
yeah.
there.
And we actually went through it with, you know, of course it had a top on it and we had the blade, but we went through that house with that bulldozer, and at one time one of the rafters did come through, and it kind of come in, it scraped his leg and my leg, and thank God, you know, it broke. Otherwise it might have hurt us all. Anything could have actually come in and hit us. So that was, we had on football helmets, like, you know, that would have something, you know, come through it and drive it right through you before you could stop.
Well, it was
But,
funny.
you know,
Not that, but
yeah, you wanted to get rid of me. I know. I know you
I was
did.
just thinking about when he said, "Okay, I'm going to bulldoze this down. Come on, Billy." And we were all standing around watching. They brought that big bulldozer up, and Elvis's daddy said, "But Elvis, we have things stored in there." And Elvis said, "Well, you got about 30 seconds to get them out." And Billy's Uncle Vernon ran into the house and was looking around, and Elvis hit it on the side.
He heard
one
crunch,
time,
and I think he.
and he came out. He had you know, sheetrock stuff in his hair, and Elvis said, "I told you had 30 seconds." Okay, but you're boom right on through.
But we had some fun times and some crazy times, and I guess at times we were actually, well, no doubt we did things unsafe, you know.
Yeah.
But, that's all part of, enjoying life. I guess, everybody has one point in their life where they, thrills outweigh the risk, and so we took them. And we're here.
And we're still here.
But any other questions that we have?
No more on motorcycles. I was just trying to group those together so far. But if anybody has any questions or anything you're interested in that we don't cover, you can send your questions in, and we will try our best to get them fitted into a video and get your questions answered.
I know somebody had asked about his eye problem with glaucoma, and the question was, did Elvis go to a doctor in Memphis, or did he see one in Nashville, because at the time he was in Nashville? Well, in that situation, what happened was that he had gone to Nashville and his eye had got to bothering him, and so he had gone to get it checked out, to the hospital and get it checked out and all, and they told him, he had glaucoma and he really needed to see a specialist. So they had a specialist fly in. His name was Dr. David Myers, and he was, he was known throughout all the South and all. And
He lived in Memphis, right?
And he lived in Memphis, and they flew him from Memphis to Nashville. So if Elvis had been in Memphis, he probably would have, seen him, or somebody would have probably recommended him. But anyway, they flew him in for Nashville, and he's the one that actually gave him the shot, in the eye and all. Of course, Elvis talked about that. He said, I didn't have time, to take anything like that.
He was dramatic.
He had one of his dramatic moments, and he said, I just gritted my teeth, and I said, go ahead. And he said, he stuck me in the eye with that needle, give me that shot. And he said, man, I don't know how you stood that. You done better than any other patient I've had. And so, that was a big thing. He talked about that, but it bothered him, and that's what I was talking about when I mentioned in another video here not long ago about washing his. You had to wash his eyes, especially that eye, and wash it out with this solution, but that was about the glaucoma. And then they asked, if he wore glasses. Well, yes, he did, but it was after he had the glaucoma. That's when his eyes started, he had to start wearing glasses, mostly just for reading. And
Never wore them out.
never hardly ever, I
That
can't
I
remember
knew of.
really wearing them out. He just wore them when he, and we kept them with us in case, it's like on the plane. If he was reading or something and wanted them, or hotel room or so, but he wouldn't wear them on stage or any place like that. So, but yes, he did wear glasses.
Another
At
viewer
times.
asked about that they saw a picture when he was younger, maybe school picture, something.
Yeah, when he was
and
little.
he had on a pair of glasses, but they didn't see it again.
Oh, that
why
was when
did
it was. He was about eight.
Eight.
No, he was. I believe that was around the. He was about 11 years old.
Those little round-
Actually, those were little
round-looking
round
glasses.
glasses. Yeah, that he wore, but they were kind of a sunglasses type glass. They wasn't, they wasn't any kind of reading glass or anything like that. They just were, he wore them, and somebody had taken a picture. But also, I think there's another one of him actually wearing sunglasses too at an early age, not getting off. But he always liked sunglasses. Had so many different types and pairs, and of course, at one time we all wore them, you know, and he wore them on, we had them on, and I think some of the hotels and all thought it was roach
World's
invasion,
Fair, y'all.
you know, and all. And
Great big one.
but he always, you know, I always liked them. But any other questions you could think
The
of?
other one that I thought about that we had that we were going to include was about the pink Cadillac. You were asked what was the deal? Was it always there, or they said was it sold and then reacquired after?
Well, you know,
After the fact.
I started singing it to you. You may own a pink Cadillac, but don't you be nobody's. And he slapped me down.
I remember it being there.
Pink Cadillac, he had two. One was pink with a black top, and one was pink and white. Pink and white was his mother's, and the pink and black is the one that actually, while they were touring, brakes stuck on it, and it caught on fire and burned up, and he never replaced it with a pink one. But the pink Cadillac that he bought for his mother and daddy, it went to Audubon Drive, where he first got it, to Graceland, and it stayed there, never left. And it's been there ever since. And he would have never gotten rid of that car, no way. I mean, that was,
No.
you know, that was his mama's, even though she didn't drive, but he had bought it for her and his daddy. But his daddy, a lot of times, you know, he would take another car, like Elvis's Mark II, or the limousine. He had a 57, you know, Cadillac limousine back in too, and you know, and he also had the 57 Eldorado convertible, which later was painted by a guy in Memphis, painted purple with purple
Yeah.
mouton carpet with EP in white letters in it, and he had gotten rid of that. I'm thinking, I don't know if he gave it to the woman or he sold it to her, but it left there for a while, and then Graceland got it back after, you know, Elvis passed away, and it was a beautiful car, it really was. And I remember one night we were in it, and cops drove up, we had the top down, the cops drove up beside us, and they was, you know, giving it, gunning it like, you know, let's pick a race here, you know, drag racing. And so we did. We showered down, and they showered down, and of course, and they just actually took us because, you know, they had them high performance motors in the cop cars back in. But anyway, you know, crazy stuff like that. But that's the only car that left there other than the Mark II. And Uncle Vernon had sold it to some guy, I think in Arkansas. Now, I could be mistaken, but anyway, they got it back too. So
Was that the white one?
white one, yeah, the Lincoln Mark II. Yeah. And that was the only two that I know of that they got back. I noticed now they got the Pantera. It left, and so a lot of these people, you know, that would approach Graceland and say, you know, look, I've got this car and all, and it was Elvis's, and they, you know, they knew it was, and so they would, you know, they put it on display, which is, you know, great, because he had a lot of interesting cars like the Pantera and the Cadillac Eldorado. I want to say it was a Biarritz, I guess that's how you say it anyway, but you know what I'm talking about. And so they got a lot of interesting things, you know, that had left us back with Graceland and all. And other than that, that's about all I can tell you about the cars.
right now, unless you think of something.
Right, yeah, I might think of something later. You know, the old noodle ain't what it used to be. No, I still have got I think, a pretty good memory of it still. Thank goodness I can still remember a whole lot of things in detail, you know. I guess because it was such a strong part of my life, you know. So,
Yeah.
But any other questions that anybody had?
No more for this one.
Well,
No.
with that, we're gonna let this video go out and soon. And once again, I can't thank y'all enough for sending your questions in and watching our videos. And I'd like to remind you again, and I know this is kind of, you know, repeating itself and don't make no more noise, the lady. I'll kill
Laney
you.
Kate.
I mean, Laney. But it was Laney. She was moving something. But anyway, just want to say, remember now, tell all your friends here, cross country, anywhere, to, you know, if they like Elvis and they like our stories and all, to subscribe to our videos. And all they got to do is hit the subscribe button. And once again, like I say, it's free. It don't cost nothing. And we certainly will appreciate it, and it'll keep us going. And we thank the world of the Elvis fans. And just remember that that's how we got this going, is because to us, we always make Elvis fans matter.
Matter.
See y'all
You can say
later.
it. What you got to say?
Elvis fans
always
better
matter.
remember
Yes,
that.
Yes,
Subscribe right now.
right.
Right.
Thank you, Laney.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.